Good morning, everybody. So I want to talk about our church calendar this week, okay? Today is a big one, Solemnity of St. Peter and St. Paul. And tomorrow, I want to talk about, in connection to this, tomorrow is the feast of the Martyrs of the Holy See is what they call it. So let's first talk about St. Peter and St. Paul. So that's huge, right? So St. Peter, our first pope, one of our longest running pope. And so we celebrate him, obviously, for the start of what we call the Holy See, what has begun and is still in Rome today. And connected to him is St. Paul, because again, without St. Paul, who took the faith to the ends of the world, the ends of the known world, baptizing, proclaiming Christ crucified, I can't say it, and risen. So thanks be to God for these two saints, or the faith wouldn't be what the faith is. The church needs both of them, and in the wisdom of the church, we celebrate them together. St. Peter is buried at St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, and St. Paul, who was beheaded in Rome, is buried in the Basilica of St. Paul outside the wall, I think is what it's called. So each of them have their holy graves in Rome, and we remember them, we celebrate them, we thank God for them, because without them, you and I wouldn't be going to Mass on Sunday. So think about them today and say thank you, and say a prayer for the faith that we have. Thanks to those saints. Now tomorrow, we have the Martyrs of the Holy See. So think about the early church. One of the worst rulers in Rome was Nero. Crazy, evil, sadistic, horrible. And so tomorrow, you and I need to remember all of the early Christians that were martyred by this barbarian, and to thank God for their willingness to give their life, to be Christian, to be a part of the faith. Because again, without them, you and I wouldn't be going to Mass on Sunday either. Think about how they died. We don't think about this. I mean, we hear it, and sometimes I guess maybe we do, give it some thought. But the martyrs of the Holy See were either killed in the arena, being torn to pieces and maybe eaten by wild animals. So that's one way that Nero got rid of them, kind of, to terrorize people and to, dissuade people from being believers. And the other way was even worse. He would take live Christians, dip them in tar, and light them. And he would use them as street lamps within his city. Again, imagine what it meant to be a Christian and to love Jesus so much that you gave your life in whatever cruel and inhuman fashion Nero and his henchmen decided to do it. So, on these 2 days, Thursday and Friday, remember our faith. Thank God for St. Peter, thank God for St. Paul, and both of them. So St. Peter was crucified, and he did not believe that he was on par with Jesus, and so he asked to be crucified upside down because he did not want to even pretend that he was equal to the suffering that Christ did. And St. Paul was beheaded. They gave up their life after spreading the good news so that you and I could be believers. And tomorrow, for all of the Christians in the early days of the church that gave their life and paved a way for what we now have and hold. And for you and me, that we may be willing to give up our life in whatever way that we are asked, to promulgate, to evangelize, to say what we believe, and to keep the faith. So on this last week of June, we're going into July, on this last week of June, thanks be to God for being Catholic. And think about the weekend. So we have a new priest coming this weekend. Our parochial vicar starts this weekend. So come to Mass and meet Father Anthony. I bet Father Bill is really happy to have a second priest in the parish. Anyway, see you guys this weekend. Thanks be to God. See you soon.